Time's up, Admiral.
Here it comes.
Give me the meat, and give it to me raw.
What's the matter? Take yourself a great big bite of meat. Taste the pleasure of the highest quality pork around.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f*** yourself. But go f*** yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob.
We want to enjoy what we're looking at. We don't want sores and fat whores.
Liar!
No.
Let me be as clear as I can. Ain't no colors in Scandinavia.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Woo! All right. 2024 is here. We are the round table. Although I think we were live on, it was still 2023 last time we did round table. I can't remember things. Hi, everybody. Welcome, hail and howdy to the round table, where we are here to give our takes, our I lost my words, our views, our thoughts on the week's events in a way that we hope you will enjoy. I am Adam the Renaissance Nerd, your resident boomer. I'm not quite booted up today, but we'll get there anyway. Let's say hail and howdy to the panel. God damn, what's wrong with me? I can't speak. I wasn't as bad last night, Jed, was I? I was okay last night.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. All right. Let's go around, say hi to everybody, and let's get started. 'Cause we got a busy show for you today, guys. Busy show. Jed, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here because we have a lot of topics that I'm going to get fired up about for today's show, from the Greek mythology stuff to the Doctor Who stuff, and then a bunch of other random little tidbits. Like, I don't know if we're going to talk about it, the news about the new Alien movie. That looks...
I heard about that.
Mm-hmm.
I just heard about that this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They're just copying other things that were relatively successful. It's like they've never done.
Dude, that's going to fit right into the segment Hollywood hasn't learned the lessons of 2023. They've learned nothing. They've learned nothing. That fits right in there. Dre, have you gotten any sleep, Dre?
Finally.
And you slept good, didn't you?
After months of not sleeping, I slept in yesterday. It was glorious. Glorious. I woke up. I was like, oh my God, I don't have anything to do.
There's always something to do, but sleep is important.
Yeah.
I wish I could sleep better.
I've had a good week. This has been a good week. Digital fulfillment has been fulfilled.
Nice.
That's how you're supposed to say it. Prints have been ordered. They are being shipped as we speak. So hopefully physical fulfillment will be done. Well, at least start at the end of this month, if things work out the way I want them to go.
Well,
looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, fulfillment is the trickiest part, but if you get it done in a timely fashion, as long as you keep people updated, you're going to be fine.
Yeah, because like I had it slated for March, but I'm way ahead of schedule. Way ahead of schedule.
That's good.
That's a great thing.
Yeah, I'm way ahead of schedule. So it might be by the end of the month to begin fulfillment. So
you're saying you're not going to be one of those indie comic guys who do their campaigns, get all the money, and wait 3 years to say, you know what, I ain't actually doing this.
Yeah. God, I hate that. I hate that more than anything else in the world. But no, fulfillment is actually ahead of schedule. So I am very, very happy about that. So that's really, really good. So I'm fired up about that. That's really good.
That's outstanding, dude. And congratulations again to you for getting it done. RNH assessment, and now when you get it out there and it arrives on time, the trust will be built.
Oh yeah,
and that will just be even better for the second round, next time around, because people that he got me my product, it was good, came with its quality, everything worked, and I'm ready. I trust this guy, and that's the important thing about Iron Age is build the trust with your customer, not consumer. Remember that word. We're going to talk about that a lot today. Build trust with your customer, have ongoing conversations with your customers. And that's why the Iron Age works.
Yep.
when
Exactly why it works. 100%.
You know, we don't outsource our customer service or at least our techniques to India. So
No,
Yes.
no. At best, I outsource my customer service to like Grump when he's
Yeah.
here, and Grump just goes whatever. When he gets
as long as you're not doing it with Dermy, I thought that's what you're gonna say. Is you outsource to Dermy?
I knew you guys would think I was going to say that, but I'm not retarded. I'm not going to put the Velcro shoe Dermy in charge of anything. I caught this yesterday. I'm going to show it. I'm going to show it because congratulations again to Soldier Adam, my brother in Adams, with his vets talking with Gary. With Skinamax yesterday. It was Skinamax coming on with Gary. Congratulations on that. They had a great time. But prior to that, Dermy being a good hype man. Let's be honest, Dermy gets out there on Twitter and he will talk shit up. But it's Dermy. So when it is Dermy, you have to be prepared for the retard factor. And I caught this before the stream went live, and he hasn't changed it yet. So I get to show it off. Hey, y'all, come check out Skinamax Saturday tonight, 9 p.m. CST. We have the man, the myth, what's a legend? What's a legend? Derby, we love you, but god damn it, spell. And he has the blue check mark. He can edit this shit. He can edit it, and he just doesn't.
He prides himself.
I make that one.
He prides himself in his inability to spell.
It's there. Well,
after what Rachel Zegler tried to correct his spelling, after he's never gonna stop
you're
doing
roboting
it.
hard. You're roboting hard.
Roboting.
Yeah. Okay, you're better now. You were roboting hard there for a second. Yeah, I know he does it on purpose with the stand, or he just doesn't care in the stands. But you're promoting your buddy's stream. You're promoting a stream you're going to be on. God damn it, Dermy. God damn it, you dyslexic retard. Spell the goddamn word right. I mean, yesterday, Jed, right before as soon as I put up our stream for last night, I added an extra C on success. And I saw it right away. And I changed it because spelling's important.
No way.
Yeah. So Dermy's a retard, but he's our retard, and we love the little fat bastard. Anyway, so Dragon Lady, how are you? Welcome back.
Good evening. Good to be back after Christmas and New Year. This time last week, I was stuffing my face with king prawns. Since I do like my seafood, and when nobody else was interested in eating them, I ate the rest of them. So yeah, that was the jackpot for me, shall we say, New Year's Eve.
Whatever makes it fun. Hey, food is delicious. Food makes things better, especially when it tastes good. And we're happy to have you back, and we're ready. We're ready for this. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, we were playing Monopoly, so I
haven't played Monopoly in years. It's been a long time.
I have no patience for it.
Oh, see, we used to play Ruthless Monopoly. There used to be no takesy backsies, none of that. We would bankrupt you if you got there. It was vicious. No shits given. But we're ready to go today. Hail and howdy to the chat. How's everybody doing? Hail, the Goddess Legion. It's one of my mods and my regulars here to keep the peace, be my personal troll, and keep me on the straight and narrow. Good afternoon, Kale. How are you? Glad to see you here as always. Hail, Ruben X. What's up, my friend? And anybody else is watching, not chatting, here with us live. We're happy to enjoy you. It's a busy Sunday afternoon. A lot of big streams going to be going on today. We're happy to have you here live. If you are happy with us, have a good time. Hit that like button. If you're watching on the replay, hit the like button again. And we hope you enjoyed the rest of the show. We got a good one for you today, guys. I'm excited. Last week, I wondered, what are we going to do next week? Because there's nothing to review. Nothing's come out. The box office isn't a topic really anymore because everything is dead until February when we get the next round of shit. Madam Web, I'm gonna watch. I decided I'm gonna do Madam Web. I'm reviewing Madam Web. It's right there. It's so low. Have to go for it.
You have
Dre, you're
fun
gonna
with that.
do it. You know you're gonna do it.
I can't. I can't do it.
You'll do it.
I might. Okay. All right, Adam. To be fair. Okay, if you review Madam Web, if you review Madam Web, I will review Echo. That would be my deal.
Echo's this week. Echo's this week. Yeah.
It's
Echo
already.
Yeah, I mean, I can't do Echo because I'm so out of the MCU. But Madam Web is special Madam Web is special because
It's special, all right.
Yeah, it's special. It's Sony without it's Sony Spider-Man without Spider-Man, and it's not like I'm gonna go there. A certain man named Sparrow is gonna help me out on the beach. I'm not gonna actually go there, Jesus. But I'm doing that in February. February is gonna be busy as hell because we got that, we got Avatar, we got Fallout, we got Halo. Woo! February is gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. But that's not this. We got January right now. So I was wondering this week, what are we going to have this week to talk about? Disney does not disappoint. Disney gives us Charmin Obaid-Chinoy, and I'm just going to call her Chins because that's what I call her. We got Chins and her glorious statement, which dug up all her old statements we covered months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then that leads into the meltdown of the Disney Star Wars stand. There's something special with this right now, and we're going to get into it. We got a couple tweets going to, which leads into the losses of Disney. Disney just all week long. I mean, we don't even really need to talk about it. It started with Steamboat Willie, and that's already so distant because everything else as the week went on, it gets worse and worse for Disney. There's another lawsuit, and this one isn't about business. It's about, I'll say it, abuse. We'll just say abuse. We'll get into that. Allegedly. Abuse. We'll get into that as part of the L's, but the L's just keep coming for Disney, which leads to the fact that Hollywood, when you look at the broad spectrum of it, we got a Hollywood Reporter article. I did it for a video this week, but we're going to use it today for the base of that conversation. Hollywood has not learned the lessons of 2023. Not at all. And that article shows it. Jed just pointed out something that dropped today, which definitely shows it that they haven't learned anything with what they're coming out with in the future. On top of that, RIP Doctor Who continues. It is still dead. They are going after the fans, doubling, tripling, quadrupling, quintupling down on doing the opposite of what they should be doing to get fans excited, to try and win them back, which it's going to fail clearly. And then at the same time, Percy Jackson. We've avoided talking about Percy Jackson because I made a very definite decision last year. I wasn't going to touch the show on Disney Plus because I had a taste of the Percy Jackson stans who are all for Rick Riordan and his total whacked out SJW politics. They're crazy. I got enough of my plate dealing with Star Wars stans, Doctor Who stans. I got enough of that. I don't need the crazy Percy Jackson stans who are niche. Let's admit it. They're niche. They're not. It's not a large thing. They're very contained, very crazy. But the ones that are left, the ones that have not been driven away, the ones that have open armed, hugged the Disney Plus show, which is doing okay. I think I've seen no real numbers on it except this and that. They are insane, and they are forgiving all kinds of abomination stuff when it comes to the mythology, especially this week when it came to the last episode about Medusa. And Medusa appears in the first book, but it's for like a hot minute.
Mm-hmm. And she's just a monster in it. It's just an obstacle to overcome.
Yeah, it's a hero's journey obstacle. But they couldn't miss a chance to go after the patriarchy.
Mm-hmm.
Jed,
yeah.
I almost did a video this week that I thought, no. I need to use Jed as a shield on this. He's more equipped to break this down than I am. Even though I've read Percy Jackson, it was a long time ago. Jed is even better on mythology than I am, and he's even more angry about this than I am. So I turn you loose.
All right. So yeah, I'm more annoyed by this because this is a trend we've seen when it comes to Medusa's character, in particular across other franchises, across the actual Me Too movement and the political sphere. There's a statue erected of the victim Medusa in New York City across from a courthouse where Harvey Weinstein was sentenced as some sort of big power statement. But in this, Rick Riordan says that Percy doesn't explore the character Medusa because he doesn't have the emotional bandwidth for deconstructing the patriarchy. This 12-year-old boy who's being actively attacked by this snake-haired monster doesn't take a second to think, oh my god, what if she's a victim? I should stop and let her kill me because, oh, she's probably a victim. No, he defends himself. I'm not a fan of the Percy Jackson books. I read them all when I was young, and then I came to despise them because of how they warp the mythology. But that's purely a personal thing. I don't have any sort of objective opinion on the books. My opinions are purely subjective. So I don't really care if this is the perfect adaptation. I don't care if people
Apparently,
love
it's
it.
not. They've
Yeah.
changed a bunch
It's
of stuff
not.
from what I've seen.
They've changed a lot of stuff from what I've heard, and the actual real proper Percy Jackson fan base kind of probably wants to send Disney a lot of death threats. Apparently,
I could care less if it was perfectly accurate or not accurate at all, because I don't like Percy Jackson. But the thing with the Medusa character across all the spectrum of different properties in the real world politics and stuff like that is born from a misunderstanding of the mythology. So in the original Greek myths, which this show and these books should derive pure inspiration from, is just the Greek versions of these characters. In the Greek versions, she was purely a monster born into a family of monsters, no different than the Nemean lion or the Chimera or anything like that. She was just a monster, no real backstory. She wasn't a human first. You've all probably heard the human story of her most commonly, but that isn't the Greek version of the story. That is a Roman retelling from at least 800 years later by this guy named Ovid, who hated the Greek gods and portrayed them all as the most villainous people he possibly could. So that is derived from a Roman propaganda piece against the Greek culture. And in that one, there's a misunderstanding driven from that. So in the Latin, it translates accurately into Poseidon violated Athena's temple. So for those of you who don't know, the Ovid version of the story is Athena and Poseidon were in competition over the rights of patronage to the city of Athens. Things got crazy. Poseidon decided to take it out on Athena by having sex with one of her priestesses, Medusa, in the temple of Athena. That pissed Athena off, and she cursed Medusa to be what she is. And people have taken that to be, oh, she's the victim of the patriarchy. No, a woman cursed her out of jealousy and spite in a situation like this. And a mistranslation says that Poseidon sexually assaulted Medusa in this situation, that it wasn't consensual, and that's what makes it a victim of the patriarchy. But that is actually a mistranslation. Like I said previously, the actual line is Poseidon violated the temple of Athena by having sex in it. That was the violation, not Medusa herself. So there's so many layers to this, but people are just like taking this mistranslation of a retelling, a propaganda piece from nearly a millennia later as evidence that she was always a victim. She was a victim of the patriarchy. We're seeing her as a monster when she never really should have been. And the statue in New York City features her, all beautiful, all amazing, with the head of Perseus in her hand, because they believe that Perseus, no matter his reasons for killing her, were sexist, even though he virtually saved the kingdom he came from by doing that.
He's doing it to save Andromeda. I mean, it's the whole thing is ridiculous.
In that version of it, there are several versions of it. One where it's about his mother and not a love interest. But regardless of the version, he's saving someone by killing Medusa. Whether or not it's Medusa actively killing people, like stopping a monster's rampage, or using her to stop another monster's rampage, or to convince a king to do something. There's a lot of different versions, but they all agree Medusa, just a monster, not a victim.
Even on the Disney version of Hercules and the animated series, they had Medusa as a villain on that.
Yeah,
so
and it's even more annoying in this one that for Percy Jackson, but how is she alive? I mean, she's supposed to be dead. She had her head.
The monsters, I was gonna say, the monsters regenerate every few millennia.
I know, but
that is a written-in mechanic, so we could reuse old monsters.
I know,
that
but
dead.
it's cheap. It
is very cheap, but yeah, Medusa. So in the show, they go with that Ovid retelling mistranslation where she's a sexual assault victim. So this isn't accurate to the mythology as Rick Riordan claims he's supposed to be. It's accurate to a Roman retelling propaganda piece that was mistranslated.
But even in the Roman propaganda piece, because my father was a historian, so all this stuff just comes burning back to my freaking skull. Even the Roman propaganda, the idea is that yes, Poseidon, as far as the Roman translation is, like yes, Poseidon violated her in the temple of Athena, and that she cried out to Athena for help, but Athena still screwed her.
Yep.
So either way you spin it, if you go pure Greek mythology, when she's just another monster like a chimera, like everything you like saying, Jed. If you go that route, she's already a monster. even if you go down the Roman mythology-esque version, she still gets screwed over by a woman.
Mhm.
So either way you spin it, it's not the idea of a patriarchal system that has let her down or has betrayed her or ruined her. No, it's women being jealous of women. Literally,
it's just
if you're
fucked
gonna
up
do it, you're gonna
people.
do
Well,
it.
here's the thing: Rick Riordan is about as woke as you freaking get. He is
Mm-hmm.
broken man. He suffers from TDS. Every single problem that a hard lefty suffers from, he suffers from it to the point where when they announced that they were race swapping Annabeth to little black chick who's playing her now, he attacked the hardcore fans, the original fan base, who said, "Why have you done this? Why have you done this?" And he and his crazy wife went on full attack. And this kind of stems because we're talking about this. They got these women, and Dre just mentioned it. How they're not. There's no way they can make Athena the bad girl in this because of the race swap of Annabeth.
Oh,
They're
so
gonna make Athena black. I don't think I've
Wait,
seen
is
Athena
that
actress.
what the deal is? Is Athena black in
she's got to be.
That's what I'm going to assume because
Oh,
we don't
boy.
see Athena till the end
Mhm.
of the first book.
Here we go.
Someone on Twitter was trying to argue that it was still a victim of the patriarchy, even with Athena as the villain, and I could see Disney going this route. Is Athena's dad was Zeus, who is a big old misogynist, so she had internalized misogyny.
What
And
does
so
that have to do with personal choice? See, here we go. Here's
you.
the kicker. Here's the kicker. This is the thing that all the psychopaths don't understand. You can come from a background of hatred, misogyny, racism, whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, it's still choice. If you choose to engage in those type of behaviors, you are just as bad as the individuals that perpetrated initially. I'll give you an example. I grew up around a lot of pimps and killers and drug dealers. All right, straight up and down. I myself did not engage in those type of behaviors. Granted, I was around a lot of it, definitely influenced aspects of my upbringing, but I refuse to engage in that type of behavior because I know that's not beneficial for myself. For me to then go and engage in the behaviors that I know are negative and then blame the past for it, that's just ridiculous and stupid. So the idea that, oh, she was raised in the environment of misogyny, so therefore she has the right to perpetrate it is absolutely insane just to be able to pass the buck. That's nonsense. It's garbage. And that type of victim mentality is why we're in
But
this.
that's what they
we're in today.
thrive on. Victim agenda, victimization. It's an industry. It is an industry, and that's what they're banking on, and they use it as a shield so that they can call us misogynists, they can call us racist, bigots, phobes, whatever, when we say we don't like this. Oh, you don't like it because you're a part of the patriarchy. No, I don't like it because it's shit. I don't like it because you betrayed, and when I say you, I'm talking to Rick Riordan now. I don't like it because you betrayed your customers. You betrayed your fans who were loyal for a couple decades, very loyal to you. And when you had the chance to sell out and push your ideological agenda, you proved you care more about that than entertaining the people who made you successful. Whether you like him or not, Rick Riordan was a successful young adult author. And he had the movies, the 2 movies, not the greatest thing, but
I'd rather watch the movies.
I was entertained
Same
by
here.
them. And I was entertained by them. But those were just stupid fun. And that there was no agenda in those, even though there was the Grover race swap and that one. Nobody cared because nobody thought about that stuff back then.
It wasn't motivated for diversity. It was just this guy was a bigger actor. I'm pretty sure he did Tropic Thunder by that point.
Maybe. No, I don't know if he'd done Tropic Thunder, but I know that he had a career at this point because he was the only one that had a real career at that point. The other actors and what's her name with the eyes and the tits? Suddenly forgot her name.
I can't pronounce her last name. Oh, so yeah, he had done Tropic Thunder 2 years prior to Percy Jackson.
Yeah. So that's a case of, okay, he's got notoriety. He's a name you put in here. And also you had Pierce Brosnan in that one too. I mean, they had
that was good casting. They had some good casting. I will give the movies that, like Pierce Brosnan and Logan Lerman. If he were younger, I think he would be good casting. They were just all way too old.
Yeah, but I was okay with it because that allowed me to ogle what's her name.
That's true. Alexandria
Daddario.
Daddario.
Yeah, I was going to say
Alexandria
that.
I struggle
Yeah,
with the last name.
she is a beautiful woman, and that was the first time I saw her. And then I realized, oh, she's old enough for me to ogle at. Okay, I don't feel bad about this. And then she went on to be sexy in many other movies. And either way, but those movies are harmless. But this
Wait
was
a minute. Who'd you get to ogle, Adam?
Alexandra Daddario,
The actress who played Annabeth.
in the first one.
She was in
and she's been
Baywatch.
and she's been in a lot of stuff, including she's taking her tatas out, and they look.
I see.
Yeah,
she would make a good Wonder Woman, chat.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
people have been saying that for years.
Yeah,
I've
I
never
definitely
heard
see her
that.
in that role. I
Yeah,
definitely see her as that.
yeah, and she's great. I love her for a lot of reasons, two especially, and she's beautiful. I would sim for her all day, but we don't have time. But those movies were harmless. But what Riordan did, and he was butthurt because he sold his rights to control those movies, and that is right, isn't it? Didn't he? He didn't have.
Yeah,
Control of those movies.
Not
he
of the
didn't
movies.
he didn't like the Fox films. He complained
Yeah.
mad about
Yeah.
those.
I want them to be accurate, and then as soon as he gets control, he doesn't make it accurate. He race
Exactly.
swaps,
That's what
well,
made me confused.
I do have to say
Top of the
that
story apparently too. Go ahead.
I do have to say, out of the twisted like the political motivations that have been derived from the Medusa story, I'd rather they go with this one than the other one. Have you guys heard of the other political, the sexist, misogynist argument that's made around Medusa?
No.
The other one comes from, they say that one applies to the Roman version, this one applies to the Greek version, where Medusa was a metaphor for men seeing vaginas for the first time, incels turning to stone in fear of seeing vaginas for the first time. And then if they were mature men who weren't incels, they would get rock hard by seeing a vagina. So virtually it was just, Medusa was a metaphor for vaginas, and that was misogynistic.
Who's coming up with this madness?
I don't know.
And they called it Freudian. They said we all know the pseudo-Freudian version of the myth from Greek, from actual Greek mythology.
I'm going to take this chance from question for saying to get us away from this particular discussion.
You're welcome.
Listen. A lot of times, here's what happens with writers when you're in legacy publishing. When you sign with a publisher, you tend to sign away most of your control over your own characters. So when a publishing company then makes a deal with a studio or a production company, this and that, unless you have it in your contract,
which every writer should these days.
You
should.
Look, Ichiro Oda Sensei. He made sure Netflix didn't destroy his baby, and look what we got, something decent. So that's why writers lose control of this stuff.
Yeah, they never really had control. The publishers did. But yet, Dragon Lady brings it up. I was about to bring that up. They're going to do the same thing with Aragon. The difference is I still trust Christopher Paolini. I think he's going to do his best in the situation. He hasn't sold out like Rick Riordan, or at least there's no evidence of him doing so.
Yeah,
but I feel like it's going to turn out the same way.
I've not heard of anything as well. I've got the new Mozart book for Christmas, but I haven't yet managed to read it yet because I've had other books to read. So
I need to read a sci-fi one.
Yeah,
he hasn't done much since Aragon, has he?
He's done a follow-up book to Aragon, the Witch, the Fork, and the Worm, or something like that. I have that one. It's actually pretty good. It's like a collection of short stories that follow the last book. And then there's the Sleep in a Sea of Stars. That's a sci-fi series that he's starting, and he's also working on a Murtagh book. So he's still active.
It's already out.
The Murtagh book is out?
Yeah,
okay.
I've got it.
Okay.
I'm taking photos, but my books are it's down at my mum's.
I was never that big into Aragon, so good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Yeah. I enjoyed them as a kid. I really enjoyed them growing up.
Yeah, same here.
That I hope that answers your question. You're saying they generally have no control. That's why the independent sphere. That's why we're all so proud of the Iron Age, because when you guys, the customer, deal with us directly, we retain the rights and control to our IPs, our franchises. That means if anything ever happens beyond the books or the comics that we create, we would be in control. There's no company saying, yes, we're going to do whatever we want despite your problems with it. So that's the bare truth of it. So Percy Jackson, again, I don't think this show is doing bangers numbers. I think it's just kind of happening, and a very small fan base that remains for it. is slobbering it up. And I've seen them on Twitter. They're as weird as the Disney Star Wars stand.
And I'd argue and say that was the fake fans. The actual fans are most likely sticking two fingers up at this and walking away.
Well, yeah. Well, they said it. They said they were going to walk away when we broke the news of the race swap last year.
Mhm.
They were
And a lot of them walked away from Rick Riordan with his subsequent books, like the gender fluid Loki demigod child.
Oh, F.
They went into extraneous detail of like, oh, today this child of Loki is a woman because she's got a bracelet that says she's woman today. And there was a Muslim demigod who during the big quest on one of the books had to observe Ramadan.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was causing a lot of problems for them because they're actively adventuring, and she kept like passing out because she couldn't eat during the day.
I am so glad that I just stopped after that last book and said, okay, I've had enough. I got what I wanted out of it. I was curious how the actual series ended because the movie stopped, and I wanted to know. So I spent $15 and I got them and I read them in a weekend, and I was satisfied. That was it. I moved on. I'm glad I didn't keep going.
His Roman ones are pretty much on par with his Greek ones, but his Egyptian ones, and especially the Norse ones are the really over the top crazy woke ones. Because Annabeth's cousin is a Norse demigod, apparently.
Okay, I don't play this game anymore. I don't play this game. And you know who really needs to learn how to play the game better? Disney. Disney needs to learn how to actually play it better because wait, shit, bad transition. I don't want to go to Disney next. I want to go to Doctor Who next. Shit. God damn it. Boom.
Well, Doctor Who's owned by Disney.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I mean, distributed by Disney.
Disney put money into it. Okay. Disney doesn't know how to play the game because they're not telling their controllers of Doctor Who. There, we've saved it. Thank you, Jed.
You're welcome.
Because Doctor Who hates its fans. What? I know. We started the week with learning. Where is it? I lost it. There it is. We started the week with learning that Doctor Who is just going to keep going down this agenda-driven path because we're going to proudly celebrate diversity.
At the expense of the story, and we're going to show it to your kids when they're young, when they don't know any better.
Yep, because let's remember, that dude right there, because that's a dude. That dude is playing a 15-year-old girl.
Mm-hmm.
And the show is telling you
she's supposed to be 15?
Yes.
Well, okay, I say that. He's playing a 15-year-old transition girl.
The character is 15, yes.
Yeah.
No, I know the actor isn't. But that's the character supposed to be 15 years old?
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of people didn't know that.
We had to be told like 20 times that this character is beautiful, stunning, amazing, smart, incredible.
And it's supposed to be 15?
Mm-hmm.
15. Which means the show is promoting the, let's just say, butchery, abuse of children who don't have the mental capacity to make this decision.
And we don't know how long before that the transition occurred. It could have been a 12-year-old transition, 11-year-old transition. The only thing that makes me think it's relatively recent, like the last couple of years, is Sylvia still struggling to call Rose instead of Jason.
Yeah. No, keep taking those estrogen pills, Jason. Keep taking them. The BBC brushed off complaints from Doctor Reviews who argued that the inclusion of Yasmin Finney, transgender character Rose, was inappropriate. The British broadcast received 144 messages from disgruntled viewers about Heartstopper star Finney's appearance in the Star Beast special.
Heartstopper?
That's the show.
It's a gay show.
Oh, okay.
With some arguing it was anti-male. Jed, we watched the Star Beast. I was a day late, but I did watch it, and we went over it. That entire episode was anti-male.
Oh, yeah.
Run down the list for us.
Well, the most egregious example of anti-male, and you're going to love this, Stray, is at the end of the episode. So Donna, she got the powers of the Time Lord, but had to have her memory wiped 15 years ago. Otherwise, she'd die. And then in this episode, she had to get those powers back. And for some inexplicable reasons, the power split between her and Rose, the transgender character. And then at the very end, Rose and Donna, the two Time Lord powerful demigods, like powerful beings who saved London for no apparent reason besides non-binary. They did say non-binary was a superpower in it. Told the Doctor, if only you were still a man, you would understand. Sometimes you can just let things go. And they just hold hands and let go of the powers, and they're both fine without memory wipes.
Yeah, and at the same time, throughout the episode, David Tennant's 14 was talked down by every single woman in the show.
Yes, every
All of
single
them.
one of them.
Lectured, demeaned, ridiculed, left to bumble around to be saved by whammons galore.
Had
So
to
that-
play the pronoun game with the teddy bear from space.
Yeah, and so it was a Furby. It looked like a Furby.
A Furby
The-
from
no,
space.
Don't insult Furbies like that. Furbies are much more innocent.
It looked like a Furby from hell. Come on.
What about it's the Meep character?
Yes,
Yeah,
beep
yeah,
the
right,
meat.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
So
this stuff is dumb.
It was all dumb. It was all dumb.
Yeah, and we all know that a staple of womanhood is being able to let things go.
Yeah. And pretend you don't have a penis when you do.
Oh
Yeah. Oh, can't forget the rockets in the wheelchair. Thank you, chat.
Yep. It was all anti-male from beginning to end. Never once did David Tennant's 14, because I will not say 10. I will not say 10 because he isn't 10. This is 14. This is an emasculated David Tennant Doctor. He was ridiculed, and it was entirely anti-male. So that's where, again, Deadline wants to pretend it didn't happen. No, it was anti-male. In an update on its complaints response website, the BBC said, as regular viewers of Doctor Who will be aware, the show has and will always continue to proudly celebrate diversity and reflect the world we live in. We are always mindful of the content within our episodes.
This isn't the world we live in. I don't
Thank you.
understand.
Yeah.
What? Oh, God, look, I don't understand the idea. Like, this is the world we live in. This is diversity. Blah, 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 blah. There aren't 800 billion trillion people slicing their cocks off. This is not the world we live in. This is not it. This is not it. I don't know where they got this from. I don't know boots they've been sniffing or what kind of crack salt they've been stuffing in their pants. I don't get it. The idea that, oh, this is the world we live in today where men are to be demeaned at every turn, and the only way you'll be recognized as a man is if you cut your cock off and then say that you're a woman.
And that.
It's just it's insanity. And is that the world that we live in? Is that the world that Doctor Who wants to reflect? Hatred, discrimination,
and men pretending to be women because they put on a dress and grow their hair out.
It's insane.
So not only that, the only reason why there's got a lot of complaints was because they're putting all this on a show that was supposed to be family friendly. The complaints are probably about the agenda being pushed into it to the point where it was quite preachy, and they had to turn it off to something else.
Yeah, if this was queer as folk, no one would really care because that's what this show was designed for back in the 90s. It had its adult audience. It was made for a type of show like this, but it's being artificially inserted into Doctor Who like a sledgehammer into a victim's skull, and it's just not supposed to be there.
Yeah. And they go on to give us the numbers here. 7.6 million people watched it. And in fact, it was 7.61 million. It's more than 7.61 Deadline. No, it's 7.61. So it wasn't more than 7.6 million. And that's the thing. A lot of people left. They claim only 144 messages. How about the millions of people that have walked away from Doctor Who? A lot of people just didn't watch it or watched it and were disgusted and made their disgust known on social media. So much so that Russell T Davies had to attack the fans himself. Poor baby, tough, all that good shit we covered for weeks. They hate us because we demand entertainment. We demand quality. We demand agenda-free. And they're not going to give that to us. That's why they're running cover for this. That's why they're pretending that we're the minority who's upset with this. They want to pretend 7.6 million people is a lot. Jed, it's fallen so far from its peak.
Oh, it's fallen substantially, and I actually heard an argument in the last couple days at the Starbeast. Apparently, over the month that it's been out, it crossed 9 million views in total, and they said that means it's a blowout success. And I just responded with, "Oh, it got a little bit more than Jodie Whittaker did overnight in an entire month. Wow, that's amazing." So yeah, Jodie Whittaker's first episode got about 8.5 million views overnight, but we're celebrating an episode that can do that in an entire month. It's pathetic.
It is pathetic. It's sad, and it's cope.
It's
massive
extreme cope.
I have been inundated with comments of being called istphobe.
Of course.
I got told to grow up. It's a children's show. That's what
I hate that excuse when it comes to children's content in general, because there's a difference between toddler content and content that is friendly to kids, like Doctor Who has always been. But there's still a level of quality. Just because it's made for a younger audience doesn't mean it can implicitly be the worst written thing in existence. What are the children's shows, movies that we remember forever? We don't remember the stupid ones. We don't remember the childish ones that, it's a children's show, so it doesn't need to make sense. We remember the films like early Pixar with incredible writing. We all, even as adults, we can appreciate a lot of those early Pixar movies because they're written very well with in-depth character work, and they're well made. There should still be a quantity of quality when it comes to children's properties. It's not an excuse to just be awful at your job. You still need to be good at your job for a children's property.
But that's what these guys do, though. They could use excuses and they use insults. Half the let's just say, real Doctor Who fan comments that I get in all my responses to this stuff, they go right after me. They don't try to defend Ncuti Gatwa. They don't try to
straight to ad hominems. That's when you know you've failed.
Straight to an attack. And it's essentially, we've won this argument. Because all they can do is try and insult us and tear us down and call us names and tell us to do this, do that. That's what they do. They don't have an argument. They don't have a leg to stand on because it's all falling apart. And the numbers prove it. I mean, Jet, you've got the numbers, or let's just say lack thereof. Still, almost 3 weeks later, Christmas special has not been updated.
Nope, that's not happened, at least in the time that I've been keeping track of these numbers. They usually come out around the 7 to 8 date mark because that's when they're available. If the overnight figures, which are using the same site, are available overnight, literally the next day, these numbers are available to them immediately upon the 7-day mark. They just choose not to release them until, in these cases of the first 3 60th anniversary specials, until the 12, 13-day mark. Well, we're
fudging the numbers then.
I wonder why.
And now we're coming up, like you said, on the 3-week mark, and we still haven't gotten the 7-day figures. So there was some accusations made that they were waiting for that 12, 13-day mark for at least these specials, Special 2, to get over that 7 million mark. It's actually the 12-day figures, but we're calling them the consolidated figures so that we can get it over 7.
Because we had that plus sign so that we have plausible deniability with our numbers.
Exactly.
It's sad. It's sad they have to do this, whereas real shows, when they have numbers, they come right out with it, and you take it as you win or loss.
Well, and with how low these figures are to begin with, losing nearly 1 million people from the first to third special is atrocious. If this were good Doctor Who numbers, if this were 50th anniversary special numbers that got overnight 10 million and in total about 12.5, 1 million drop between episodes isn't that bad because it's near double the amount of views as in total. But when you're already at 7 million, that's
but the
1/7 of your audience. That's substantial.
Compared to the 50th, where the fan fervor was at peak, everybody was excited and everybody was satisfied with the 50th.
Well, they knew how to build up to it, have marketing that built that hype. Having
it was good.
It was good. I really loved that episode. They built up to it with this finale of season 7 leading directly into it. They built up to it with the Night of the Doctor, the first time we saw Paul McGann in 20 some odd years. And they built up to it with a documentary film about the first Doctor's regeneration.
And who's going to be 12?
And who's going to be 12?
I watched live that evening, waiting till they brought Capaldi out. Because I was like everybody else. I'm thinking, who's it going to be? Is somebody I know? Who's it going to be? And then I was like, this guy. And then they got him in there for a split second. At the end of
Just the
video,
eyebrows.
Just the eyes and the eyebrows. No, all 12 of them.
It's such a great moment.
Yeah. I've watched that moment over and over again recently. When we were going over good stuff, cleansing our palates from the 60th,
Yeah, well-
I watched that scene, and it's brilliant.
Well, all
Freaking brilliant.
previous anniversary specials have been triumphant, big epic moments. Even if they're not on the same scale as the 50th anniversary, they've all been something bad is happening, we overcome it, and it's a celebration. This one's like, oh, the doctor, he's sad, old, and tired. He's gonna go retire.
Let's
He's
play
just so
catch.
pathetic. Let's play catch. And now this new reinvigorated gay black doctor will go off with his own TARDIS into the future,
And-
while yours is left in the past. It's so sad, pathetic. He's crying again. He's just crying again. It's
And
like that
where-
wasn't epic.
And where are we with the beginning of Shurigawa? It drops 3 million.
With
3 million.
it is the lowest episode for a first Doctor, except the very first Doctor, William Hartnell, I
Which
believe,
doesn't
was.
count.
Well, it was the show didn't exist yet, so
Yeah.
I mean that's fine, and that was back in the 60s. Like that's fine numbers. It wasn't a gargantuan success yet, obviously, but it's the lowest besides that of a new Doctor, and the lowest Christmas special rating in the New Who's history since they started doing Christmas specials. And yet they still defend it. People are saying, oh, the landscape of TV has changed so much that you can't compare it to anything. Even last year's numbers. I was told I could not compare any of these to even Power of the Doctor from last year. It's just changed so much that if they just say it's a success, it's a success. That's all you need to know. Well, Jodie Whittaker's was relatively recent when you think about things after the streaming wars had started, after the landscape had changed, and she got 8 million overnight.
Yeah. And then they just kept going down
Mm-hmm.
and down and down. Now, here's the thing. I saw this mentioned earlier in the chat before we started the subject, so I just checked it, and I don't know if it's true or not. Jed, do you know if it's true that Millie Gibson is going to be out after one season?
I've got the article that comes from.
Okay, you got it. All right.
So this all comes from a Doctor Who TV article, which I've been surprised. They're usually not shills, but they usually try to stay neutral in their articles, at least as I've seen. But recently, they've been very critical of the current era of Doctor Who, which has surprised me. So I have to give them props for that. As much as you all know, I love to criticize Doctor Who. I love to see it fail. I don't want to see it fail, but at this point, there is a little sick satisfaction in seeing their
Spite.
Yes,
I
there's a
call
little
it
bit of spite. There's a little bit of spite involved. As much as I love to do that, this article isn't really anything new or exciting to talk about. So it's talking about how the future of Shurigawa and Millie Gibson looks dubious after 2025. The problem with that is their evidence is merely they haven't filmed season 3 yet, or like planned season 3 yet. So this all comes from an interview from Millie Gibson, who says, yeah, once we get to 2025, I'll start auditioning some more. I think I'll have some more time on my hands. It's all good. But what this article doesn't take into account is they're currently filming season 15, which will air in 2025, because season 14 or series 1 or whatever they're going to call it, it comes out in a few months. So we've got what they've already filmed coming out soon, and what they're currently filming, which will come out in 2025. So of course you'll have more time on our hands that's not Doctor Who, because they're doing it far into the future. So she's just saying, I'll have some extra time on my hands. I can do some other auditions, but maybe I'll come back to Doctor Who. Maybe I won't for season 3. There's just nothing official yet. And Shurigawa said a similar thing, is we don't have a plan for season 3 yet. We just did season 1 and 2 so close together that we're going to take it slow right now, because we've got several years on the books.
That's also because they used all the money.
Yeah, they might have used all the money. So as much as I'd like to latch onto this and say, oh, it's going to get canceled, oh, it's going to fail, that's what I want to happen, the evidence that they provide isn't really all that new, or I still think she's going to come back for season 3. Shurigawa definitely is, because they can't have the first gay black doctor show up for less seasons than his New Who predecessors, who pretty much do 3 seasons. That's a trend. Tom Baker and Christopher Eccleston, and then of course Paul McGann in the TV movie, are the only real ones who didn't do at least 3 seasons. So, but yeah, this news, and like the one you saw from that other article you were looking at, it's not really anything.
Yeah, that's why I was hesitant to go into it, because I thought, all right, Jed will know better than I will about this. And either way, I can't wait for May. Myself and Dermy will be reviewing series 1, because, as I said, it's spite at this point. I'm not here for enjoyment or entertainment. I'm here to entertain you with my spiteful anger and my rage. So we're going to do that. And Jeremy will be there for comic relief, I guess. I don't know. But we're going to do that. We will keep you guys updated on how we're going to do that. And before we keep going, though, Jay Fraser 360 for £5 British. Hail, gents. If you have not seen them, I recommend Salty Traveling C's videos on RTD and his messaging for kids. Utterly wicked and evil. R.I.P. Dr. Well, we stream with Salty C occasionally, so we are well of that. So go check out his channel, Salty Traveling C. Thank you, Jay Fraser, for the £5. And it is sad that we have to do these eulogies for the stuff we love. I mean, it hurts. I'm going to talk. This is a tease for Anime Odyssey later this month. Our secondary topic matter will be series that have failed their fans, because I checked out something on a whim this morning. One of my favorite franchises of all time from anime, at least it was 20 years ago, and then about 15 years ago, it took a bad turn. And it broke my heart to see that in the end. And I'm only gonna tease that I'm gonna talk about this. I'm not gonna say what it is yet, but they went for the coward ending when they finally finished it. Went for the coward ending, the cop-out ending, no real choices, no nothing, no choosing a girl, no real adventure, complete cop-out, complete failure. The promises that they made in the beginning left unfulfilled. And it's not surprising, considering that all the true creative minds that were a part of it left the main series. They were not there anymore. And all that was left was the guy who wasn't really the mastermind of it all. So it's a shame when we have to do this, and it breaks your heart. But sometimes, as I just said, we continue to do it out of spite, or we do it because somebody has to. Somebody has to tell you, remind you, not you, but when I say you, I mean the normies and the future generations, that Disney Star Wars is shit. It is complete garbage, not made for real fans. And those who are propping it up right now, they're fake fans. They're tourists. I will call them that without hesitation, considering how they behave on X Twitter. We'll get to that in a minute. We had a beautiful, lovely, fully baked cake delivered to us this week in the form of Charmine Obaid-Chinoy, who was announced several months ago at Star Wars Celebration to be the director of the Rey New Jedi Order movie. What do we know about her? She's a documentarian about women being abused in the Middle East. Hey, that's great. That's good and all. Good for you. Glad you're making that stuff, shining a light on it, bringing attention to it. But there is a lot of evidence out there, which we covered months ago, but has resurfaced this week, when she charmingly, I'm not going to play the video. I'm just going to read the quote because it'll be faster that way. When she charmingly had to say, we're about to create something very special. I'll go right to the quote. I'll zoom in for you guys. I'm very thrilled about the project because I feel what we're about to create is something very special. And we're in 2024 now, and it's about time that we had a woman come forward to shape a story in a galaxy far, far away. Dre, I see you dying inside.
Look, okay, let me get the good stuff out of the way. Miss Director Chinoy, I'm not going to try to pronounce her full name. Not going to hurt her like that. Look, I get her history. I understand where she comes from. And I understand her documentaries were about bringing light to legitimate atrocities that happens in the Middle East to women and stuff like that. And I have a great deal of respect for her trying to do that and bring shine and lights to those things. I agree with that. Anybody that's being oppressed legitimately definitely needs to have their voice shine. Now that that's out of the way, okay, stay away from Star Wars, okay? Stay away. Just stay away from, like, Star Wars is already dead already, okay? But the idea that it's time for a woman to shape Star Wars, a woman has been shaping Star Wars for a decade, okay? Just about every director outside of the main movies have been women. The producers have been women. The protagonists, all of them, have been women. Women have been shaping Star Wars for a decade, and it's dead. Okay, it's dead. It was a good and alive and well for almost 4 decades.
With
Y'all show up.
with real women shaping it back then too.
Yes.
Actual shapers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Y'all show up, took over, and it was dead within 20 minutes time. It's not time for a woman to shape anything. No, it's time for someone that knows what they're doing to shape things. I don't care if it's a man, woman, elephant, fish, whoever. Someone that knows what they're doing to shape the galaxy far, far away. There's been dudes that have created some garbage in Star Wars. Hot garbage. All right.
Dave Filoni.
All right. Dave Filoni has let me down. Jon Favreau has let me down. And in some aspects, some of the things George Lucas produced, I was not a complete
George ain't
fan
perfect.
of.
George ain't perfect.
He ain't. He ain't. He never was. But guess what? He knows Star Wars. You people either don't know Star Wars, don't care about Star Wars, or both. And the idea that she's an activist first and a filmmaker second is more than enough for me to moonwalk out the door.
Yeah.
And yes, we saw the video that resurfaced when she was at the Women's Summit and said that she likes making men uncomfortable and all the other nonsense. Now, granted, more context has come out about that, about what she was talking about, but she's still the same person.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought up context, though. I'm so glad.
Yeah, it's still the same person. Yes, I get what she was talking about as far as where her documentaries were going. Yes, but she is still the exact same activist, and she's saying it in this one quote. This is what Star Wars is going to be. Some feminist wet dream that no one's gonna go see. It's the same old crap. So this lady, I'm not familiar with her work. I've seen a couple of
She did 2 episodes of Ms. Marvel.
That's more than enough for me to moonwalk out of there. That's it.
That were reshot after she left because they were so bad.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like it's, when are we gonna get experienced people to actually do Star Wars? Is that ever gonna happen again?
When every experience is a fat woman of color.
Oi, and we in trouble. We in big trouble because these fat women of color are not getting it done. They're not getting it done. The idea that, because it's a woman, this film is now going to be elevated somehow. Bruh, we just had 3 consecutive blockbuster films being executive produced and all other types of credits by women. Just happened to be directed by a puppet. In J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson. They didn't have no say in what was going on. They had pegs up their booty holes. That's what was going on. Jesus Christ.
And probably liked it too.
I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did. So the idea that, it's time for a woman to direct it, so you can bomb just like they did. Congratulations. It's
Dre,
all
you brought up a
needs
key word though. Context. Some things out of context. But this phrase right here is not out of context. When you watch the whole segment of the interview that's available, this is all she says about Star Wars. Everything else is about her agenda. But Jed, they're telling us that our reasons for hating her are absurd.
Of course.
Not Screen Rant.
Because we've taken it all out of context. Because she's talking about being the first woman of color director. No.
That's not what she said.
No.
Yes, thank you. Obaid-Chinoy's comments instead refer to her as the first woman of color to direct a Star Wars film. No, we just saw it. That's the phrase. And after that and before that, there's no other Star Wars referencing. It's all about either talking about the hero's journey or her feminist agenda. So, I mean, Jed, words matter, don't they?
Yeah, I would say that words matter quite a bit.
We don't need to read in between the lines to understand what's going on here. And this is their defense. And they've all got bent out of shape. Every single one of them. There's a dozen articles about how you need to not feel offended or scared by her. And if you do, you're a chud. This is the favorite thing I'm going on. I think this is one of the ones I got. This guy right here. If you're upset with how Disney's responding to this, if you're upset how Disney's treating Star Wars, then the best advice is to walk away. In fact, George Lucas had the best analogy of it being a being like a breakup. I decided I had enough after Ahsoka. I've had enough of them changing the existing story. But these guys like to say this right here. Guys like this little twerp here, who apparently is just a complete asshole, from what I can gather, because I've seen a couple of his shit pop up the past couple days. An old clip, but words to live by, chuds. If you don't like Star Wars now, step back. Follow Jor's example and go with grace, instead of crying to Twitter about it, as if you weren't the ones that bullied him into selling it in the first place. In the wake of us pushing back against Obaid-Chinoy, Chins, this is the response from the Disney stand base. They're attacking us in full force again. Just like I said they would last year.
Yeah.
I said it all year long. Remember when we talked about prior, during, and after Ahsoka, prior, during, after whatever else came out last year? It was, let's all get along. We can all like it together. Why can't we all just have peace? And now as soon as this shit happens and the walls are closing in faster, it's shut up, chuds. Shut up, toxic. Shut up, haters. Blah, blah, blah. Let me bring up a couple other ones. I forgot to grab
Yeah,
them
and see,
again.
this is why I have a problem with a lot of those people. Before the dark times started, we would be at each other's throats on nerd level stuff.
Nerd shit.
Yeah, that's what we did. If we saw something that we didn't like or didn't felt like it was accurate or whatever the case may be, we went at each other like savage beasts.
Mhm.
But now, even if it's something that we're pointing out, let's just take this scenario out of it just for a hot second. If it's content itself that's being shown that is subpar, which 97% of it since Homegirl took over has been trash, we point out whatever it is that might not be accurate or whatever the case may be. Their response is, you must hate it because you're a istphobe, you hate women, blah 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 blah. No, I don't hate women. I hate you. That is who I hate. I had this conversation with my wife the other day. I had a conversation with my wife the other day. I said, I have never hated anyone based on their color, creed, or sexuality or gender.
I hate Dermy.
I've only hated people once I knew them. And once I knew them, I most certainly did hate them. And these individuals that are coming out of the woodwork, saying, like when somebody's speaking to the content of, hey, this wasn't George's vision, this isn't what we should have, where this would have gone. I'm done after Ahsoka. I'm walking away. Their response is, you're garbage. You're a garbage human being. Blah blah. No. You hate figure. No, I hate you. Not everyone. You suck.
Here's what they say to us. This is the fallout. And real quick, because I don't even understand why. $5 from our good friend Samuel the Infamous. That's a heck of a way to greet someone coming in a red shirt. What'd I do? I did nothing. Tell Samuel, one of my fellow members of the USS Engage. All right, so this guy right here, Brody Wan Kenobi. This guy is one of the shills to the max on Twitter. This guy runs around pimping Disney Star Wars while putting down real Star Wars. I mean, that's one of the methodology of all these people here. They will put down real Star Wars to pimp fake Star Wars. But they say stuff like this. This is another example of them feeling afraid. They're saying we're afraid. They're afraid of the reaction to Chins. Okay, say the one goal for the Rey movie was to make men feel uncomfortable. What the fuck would that even mean? I'm a man. I question that. Just look at his profile real quick. It's there. So I always forget it's over here. The best Marvel TV content out there, officially on Star Wars Insta. Simple Man Podcast. I make stuff too. I doubt you're a man. I very much doubt so. There's nothing that they could do that would make me feel uncomfy.
That's not even a word.
Thank you, Dragon Lady. I agree.
It's a soy word. It's soy.
A very soy word.
Very soy. If her statement makes you feel any type of way, you're soft and need to talk to your mom more. What? My friend, I talk to my mom every day.
This guy's a moron. He's assuming that because people are concerned by this statement that they're uncomfy about it. No, we obviously aren't uncomfortable by anything she can do either because we're not insane. But her idea, her position is a concerning one. It's not complicated, fella.
Yeah.
Just
But
because
her
someone is
position-
contradicting.
but his statements, if this guy's a he, I don't know. But this individual statement, he claims he's a male. That means she hates you too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
But he's an ally, Dre. He's an
It doesn't
ally.
matter. It doesn't matter. The idea of male allies is a freaking myth. This this individual right here just proves the point. She says all men. She didn't say my allies or John Stewart, whatever. This woman said I
Jon
like
Stewart's
making
not
men
a man either.
Exactly. Yeah, God, he's fallen off the cliff. But like she's saying all men, and he's literally saying, well, not me. I don't feel uncomfy. Like, bruh, it doesn't matter if you feel it or not. Her intention is to make you feel uncomfortable. That's her goal. This is what she does. So if you don't feel it, great. But that is what she's directing to do. These people are delusional. There is no ally.
Delusional is only the beginning to describe.
There's no allies. If I tell you, Adam, like, hey, my goal is to make every pale-skinned human being uncomfortable right now. Okay? That means I'm out to make Adam uncomfortable, Jed, and Dragon Lady. I'm trying to make all of you feel uncomfortable just because. Even if I didn't know any of you, my goal is to do that. Now, Adam, if you come to me and say, oh, well, no matter what you say, I'm not uncomfortable, that means I just failed at my mission. That's all that means. I failed at my mission to make you uncomfortable. But my director, my prime directive, Star Trek, my prime directive is to make you feel uncomfortable. If I fail at it, I fail at it. But that means you're not my ally, no matter what you do. These people are whack. These people are not well. These people
No, they're
hate
not.
you.
Because look at this. What this has spurred forward is now and Jed and I were talking about this before the show started. These stands are digging up, like clockwork, or maybe somebody's told them to do it. They're digging up the old arguments, the old debates. I've seen this all over the place today. They're trying to talk up Reva again.
God.
Reva had a relatable, believable character arc, and her motives were grounded in the experience she had during Order 66. She was a fantastic yet conflicted character, and absolutely know 100% she was well written. The Menace don't know anything about good writing. Now, I jumped on this as soon as I could when I saw it because of the fact that this person doesn't even know who the hell they're attacking because the fandom Menace hasn't been a thing for 3 years. Fell off. It disbanded for whatever it was because it was a movement. It wasn't even an organization. It was just a movement, a banner that people gathered under when we all realized, hey, Disney hates us. And we're all offended. But then it fell apart because of internal politics. Doesn't matter, though. So he says that, but this is what they're doing. They are pushing the female agenda, the race swap agenda, all this shit, all this intersectional bullshit again because suddenly they're under attack because a stupid woman uttered shit that has nothing to do with Star Wars. So Reva arguments are popping up all over the place. Arguments are popping up all over the place. It's breaking down. Go ahead, Dre.
Are we done with Reva? Are we?
Apparently
not. We're
Isn't
not
she
done?
getting her own show?
There's no way.
I hope so. I hope so.
There's no
Boy,
way.
I would love that. That would just grow my channel even faster.
Yo, this has to stop. Look, Reva was a bad character. Period. I don't care where you stand on the issue of it's a woman and she black. I don't give two squirts of solid piss. She is not it. She is not it. She was poorly written, poorly acted, poorly everything, poor direction. And look, I've got nothing. And like this has got nothing to do with the young lady, whatever her name may be, that portrayed the character, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
This character sucked eggs in a terrible show. She was somehow the worst character in it. It was bad. And people it's been 2 years now, hasn't it? It's been 2 years.
Yeah, I think so.
2 years. Oh,
yeah.
It's been 2 years, and they're still trying to suck the corporate teat to say that Reva was actually some good. No, stop the madness. Didn't her action figure failed to
Her lightsaber,
sell.
yeah.
Her
Yeah,
HasLab
the saber.
lightsaber didn't sell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That joint failed to sell. I mean, failed to fund. Excuse me.
Fun.
Failed to
Yeah,
fund.
correct terminology. Yeah.
Yeah, failed to fund her figure. Failed to fund everything from old Star Wars, funding out the balls. But this character doesn't resonate with anyone, whether you're black, female, or any of those demographics. She's a bad character. It's not up for debate. It's what it is. She sucked eggs, and once again, it's got nothing to do with the actress. Because who directed not Deborah Chow. Deborah Chow
What's
did.
Deborah Chow?
She
Was
did
Deborah Chow?
Kenobi. Yeah, she did.
She
Deborah
ran
Chow?
the whole thing. Yeah.
Deborah Chow did all of it, and it was hot, steaming garbage.
Yes,
from
sir.
top to bottom. So stop the Reva love. It's over with, man. Stop. And like the idea that this is like Jar Jar Binks. No, it's not. It's not like Jar Jar.
Different.
The actor was attacked for Jar Jar. The actor.
By the media, not by us.
media.
The fans attacked Jar Jar. The media attacked Ahmed Best.
That is correct.
Ahmed Best.
Ahmed Best. Yeah, that is correct. This is not the same situation under any microscope or glass. This is not the same. So these people that are like, it's the same. Not even freaking close. Well, first of all, none of y'all are probably there anyway. So screw you. This idea like, it's the same thing because she's black and Ahmed Best is black. No, this got nothing to do with race, got nothing to do with color, got nothing to do with gender. She was poorly written, poorly directed, poorly acted, and no one liked her. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of her toys sitting in a landfill right now, still in the plastics.
With all the baby Yodas.
And at Ollie's. Samuel, infamous for another $5. Ally is a wartime terminology and solely applies to temporary circumstances so long as goals align. It's paper thin. Yeah, we were allies with Soviet Russia until we weren't. So Samuel,
that worked out well.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Patton should have been allowed to keep going. You wanted to keep going? Should have been allowed to keep going. I said it there. Thank you, Samuel, for the $5. But you just laid it out perfectly. Dre, failed characters, failed everything. The sequel trilogy, Disney, is a failure. And whenever a moment like this comes around, and you wonder, can they even help themselves? And when I mean Disney, Star Wars, Disney, Lucasfilm. Do they not realize that every time this happens, it always turns out bad? Because the 10 people on Twitter that talk the loudest are not a thriving fan base. They're a stand base that parrot the same shit over and over again. And what they're doing this week alone, again, there's an uptick. As soon as this happened, the defenders of the sequel trilogy come out. This is one of my, I hate this guy. Some people I've been checking out recently have found a way to get blocked by him. I haven't done it yet. I've been working on it for over a year. Still hasn't happened yet. I hate this guy. This guy is one of the biggest Disney Star Wars twinks out there. He tweets more than Dermy does. This guy tweets like a 12-year-old girl, not a 14-year-old girl, like a 12-year-old. Every hour on the hour, it's something Disney Star Wars related. And he has claimed in the past, I love the positivity community. I'm here to promote positivity, but then turn a button. On a dime, he will turn around and he will go after people. He immediately jumped on the anti-Star Wars theory train that started up a couple weeks ago. Now, in the past, I've always said I've had issues with how theory has been covering Disney Star Wars, but I always said I respected the man for what he's built as a platform, as a businessman. And I've never said he wasn't a Star Wars fan. I just questioned his decision-making. Dre, you've been there with me when I've commented on it. So you could back me up. I've never said I hated the guy. I've never said he isn't a fan. I've simply questioned theory. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? That's
As have I.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I respect for him. A lot of respect for him.
I have nothing but respect because you don't become the biggest fan Star Wars channel out there and not care about it and not be an actual fan. So Theory cares about Star Wars. I've questioned how he's covered it, but I've never said he isn't a fan. But as soon as he broke ranks, apparently now completely, the hate train has been going for them. And this guy right here, Jacob, JT and Thugs, who is a soy as you fucking get. As soon as the hate train started, he preaches peace, but jumped on that train immediately and attacked theory. And then and this week, right on cue, as soon as Chin started her rhetoric, here comes his literally hourly sequel trilogy defense post like this. The prequel showed duels with characters essentially in their prime, quickly battling one another with flashy choreography. The sequels show a more heavy-handed, emotional, and less choreographed approach, having characters who are sort of mastery swing lightsabers against one another. An excellent duality, with the original trilogy acting as balanced middle ground. That's not a single lightsaber duel in the entire saga that hasn't been captivating to watch. Word salad. Canon word salad. He just pulled this out of his stinky ass and tries to tell us that this is some sort of legitimate take when he just made this shit up to justify the sequel trilogy duels, which I paused the GIF because it's maddening to look at, where you have Krylo and Rey just hammering each other with lightsabers.
Oh, they're baseball bats.
Like baseball bats. But wait a minute. How can you say that they're untrained if you go watch Obi-Wan and watch Nobi-Wan and not Vader duel? They're doing the exact same thing, just hammering each other. And this is Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader, who was Anakin Skywalker, two of the best in the time. At the same time, I've heard other guys try to say that at the end of the Old Republic, that Jedi were in their prime. No, they were at their weakest. This was the weakest generation of Jedi in thousands of years.
Which made them prime for being taken over by the Sith.
They say so in the movie. We must tell the Senate our powers of the Force are diminished. That's what Mace Windu says. Maybe it's time to tell that we're weak. So, but that just shows people are fake fans, but they will do anything and say anything to support their madness. As Dre pointed out earlier, their delusions. And he adds, I'm going to say it, I've been more engaged in the fights of the sequel trilogy over the fights of the prequel trilogy. Whoa. Duel of Fates.
Please don't reproduce.
He got married.
Apparently. Okay, let me just make sure I remember.
To a fat chick with a dumbbell nose ring.
Nick Gillard was the choreographer for the prequel movies, right? If memory serves me correct. Nick Gillard.
I don't know the name. I'm not good at that kind of stuff. My nerd cred stops there.
I think it was Nick Gillard. I'm pretty sure. And he was a great swordsman that definitely had great choreography.
You're correct.
Nick Gillard? Okay, excellent.
And you had Ray Park.
Yeah, and Ray Park, one of the greatest stuntmen of his generation, period.
And you had Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor, who worked their asses off to look good up against Ray Park, and then Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor worked their asses off to look good with each other.
Yes,
and then you had a stand-in for Christopher Lee because he was an old man.
Exactly, of course. And the idea that somehow those gentlemen that worked so hard to bring something that was darn near art alive in those prequel movies, whether you like those movies or not is irrelevant. The work that those gentlemen put in to make something look that good, that early, and your answer is the dumb kids that are swinging sticks at each other. That has absolutely no emotional.
It has emotion, Dre. It has emotion.
Emotion where? I don't care about these people. What's the point of these fights? These fights were pointless. Ray and Kylo, what are they fighting for? I don't know. I don't know.
But they're better than the sequel. They're better than the prequel trilogy because they have emotion.
What emotion? My thing is, okay, look, this guy is functionally retarded. We know that.
He is.
But the idea is that, like, okay, what is the emotion that's being conveyed here? I think this is from Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, it's Soy Walker. Yeah, it's Soy Walker.
Yeah, whatever. I saw that movie once and prayed to Jesus Almighty that I forget all the signs. All that I see that joint. So I see this joint, and I remember that's when they're looking for the Wayfinder or whatever, some MacGuffin, and then they just fight. Yeah. Who gives a toss? Who gives a toss?
Go ahead, Jim.
I don't freaking get like these semi-retarded babies that are running around out here on Twitter and just are saying this unspeakable nonsense. Like oh, this is emotion. No, you idiot. This is nothing. This is nothing. This is less than nothing. I've seen more emotion from fan films with a budget of $5 whole. Okay, that have told a better story in 5 minutes time than this 2.5 hour blockbuster of hot urine. You're gonna sit there and say to me that this garbage right here is the emotional apex of Star Wars? You were either born in 2005 and hit your head, or somehow, some way, your parents made you in a test tube and removed all of your faculties. Whatever is the problem, you are bleeding out the ear, my friend. You're bleeding out the ear. Stop the madness. The idea that these films are somehow an emotional weight, which literally zero people, allow me to respond, zero people have connected emotionally to the point to actually pull a profit from this stuff. You have no idea what you're freaking talking about. I'm pulling Star Wars from 1977, and everybody and their mama is still wetting their drawers of the idea of just seeing Darth Vader on screen. Those figures are flying off the freaking shelves. All their action figures, their books are selling. I'm still collecting new ones. Well, new prints of all the new ones. I just freaking, I'm losing my mind.
I'm going to turn you on. Hang on. Let me turn you on. Let me settle you.
Find the rebels' hidden fort.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
The end. I just wet myself just now. I've seen that scene 3 million times and I still get a hard on. Okay? This mess that they're talking about here is nonsense. I just got Heir to the Empire just now. Ooh. Just in the mail. Dark Horse reprint.
Controversy. Okay.
Yeah. Just got the reprint just now in the mail. Why? Because of things from yesteryear. I still have emotional connections decades later. These people are unwell.
Real Star Wars sells. This is Star Wars sells. Okay, Jed, you wanted to jump in with something.
All right, so I just looked at the fight coordinator for Rise of Skywalker. His name is Mike Lambert, and his recent stuff makes total sense how he made this crap. But his old work is actually good. So okay. I brought up his IMDb, so it's kind of wild how bad his recent stuff has been. So this is him right here, Mike Lambert. He is doing Kraven the Hunter.
Oh, we've seen that trailer.
Let's wrap this up.
Did The Flash. He did The Eternals.
No. Oh, no.
He did The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Oh, God.
Both Justice Leagues. The Assassin's Creed movie. Man from Uncle, though. Man from Uncle was good. It had some good fights. We're getting back. Kick-Ass 2. I've seen the first one, not the second one.
I only saw the first one.
I like that movie. That movie's good.
And he's done stunts for a lot of these other ones, but he did fight choreography for Wrath of the Titans. Haven't seen that one, but apparently it's good.
Those movies are
it's okay.
Yeah, he was the stunt double for Captain America in the first Avenger, but these are the non-highlighted ones are where he was just a stunt man. The highlighted ones are where he's the fight choreographer.
Yeah, I want his choreography.
Yeah, he was actually apparently in Doctor Who too as a stunt performer.
Hey, stunt man, but different. You may be good stunt man.
That's different.
Choreography.
But he did the fight choreography for the Mummy.
Boy.
All right, this guy needs to find a new. This guy needs to stay a stunt man and not be a.
And he did Gladiator. Like he's done his old stuff was really good when he was just being a stunt performer, like Batman Begins. Yeah. Stunt performer is good, but when he does fight choreography, the Mummy.
He's good at taking direction, but not giving direction.
Wrath of the Titans.
Really? Yeah.
Man from Uncle is the big standout for me. That one, I was like, all right, I'll give him that one.
Yeah,
if he did the fight choreography,
broken
100%.
clock is right twice a day.
Yeah, but Assassin's Creed, no, you're not getting that one from me. All of these ones, you're not getting any of these from me.
Oh my God. Craven, we've seen that trailer.
He's a good stunt man, not a coordinator.
Yeah, and
clearly, because every time he's in charge, lives have ended. So it's like bruh, just like I get it, and he's probably getting old too. So I mean, I get it, man. It's just it's not even upsetting. It's frustrating to see the shills in the stands just slob the knob of just absolute garbage.
You say
it's
shills
weird.
This is what the shills have turned into. Wikipedia.
Oh,
as the site grows, our logo evolves with it. Check out the newest iteration of our Pride logo. This is all they care about. Adding pronouns, adding gender, adding sexuality to Star Wars. They don't care about Star Wars, care about anything. Wikipedia is a joke. It's been a joke. It's sold out. The minute they said, here's the Legends tab and here's the Canon tab, I said, you're done. You are no longer useful to me. You're nothing. This is all they care about, and they get praised by this. But there are people coming out there saying, I worked with this, and these people are no good anymore. They sold out. But this is Disney Star Wars. This is one of the front runners of Disney Star Wars, and these are the people. You just saw it. I had him up there. I'll bring him back. This little look. He's got his pronouns in his bio. That's all they freaking care about. They only care about Disney Star Wars. They only care about everything after 2012. They don't care about anything legitimate. And they spend their time destroying real Star Wars to prop up the fake version.
And you know what makes me upset about this is that when did these gender studies majors get into all this stuff? I mean,
slowly.
How is this possible?
It's
you know what, Adam, it's our
I have
fault.
an answer. Well, I have an answer, a legitimate one.
What please?
What it is it is what the commies said 50 years ago, the long march through history. We are not Brezhnev. It was Brezhnev, right?
Rishnikov.
No, Baryshnikov's a dancer.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Baryshnikov's a dancer. God damn it, Jay.
Same era, wrong person.
He said it when he slammed his shoe at the UN. We are gonna infiltrate. We're gonna have a long march through history. We're gonna have our sleepers. We're gonna infiltrate all your stuff, and before you know, we're gonna take over. And look, the commies have won to a large extent. University, they infiltrated gender studies, and then they get these jobs through human resources, where they all got their jobs in the first place. All these people, all these agenda-driven, intersectional, woke retards got jobs in human resources. So then they're hiring the people the next round that come out that have the qualifications to be executives here, executives there, run this, run that, move this, move that. They're hiring us. So suddenly you turn around, and the other streams, the bigger streams, have pointed out repeatedly. Friday Night Tights did it a couple weeks ago. They showed us what the Lucasfilm executive board looks like. 80% women with this agenda on their dial. So that's what happened. They infiltrated quietly. After they got destroyed in the beginning of the 90s, when communism fell and the PC era tried to resonate and get a hold, and society said, take your PC bullshit and shove it in your ears. They got quiet. They huddled together in the shadows. They communicated. They worked out their plan, and then they quietly infiltrated all levels of corporations and industry. And here we are. Then in 2016, when Trump broke their brains, that was the signal. Now we must destroy because we have no choice. And here we are, almost 10 years later, 8 years later, and the results.
It's funny, Adam. Like you and I, we remember a time when this stuff was not "quote unquote" mainstream cool. We remember that time period, and
mocked and ridiculed.
Yeah, and
yeah, Adam remembers being mocked for Flash Gordon.
There you go, Flash Gordon. My thing is this: we should have gatekept. We should have.
Oh.
I think we were so excited to actually be accepted into the mainstream that we let these freaks in, because this was something that we just enjoyed. And the fact of the matter is that somebody now is like, oh my God, this thing that y'all liked for 30, 40 years is now cool. Wow, you guys are actually cool. You guys actually enjoy something that's really fun and really, really awesome. And the idea of being accepted to that notion, we opened the doors to these freaks and monsters. And now it's all been besmirched right in front of our very eyes.
Well, here's the thing. 20 years ago, when Expanded Universe was still going strong, I read every book as they came out. Only time I didn't read every book as they came out was during the Legacy arc after the book Sacrifice. Those who if you know, you know. I had to take a break for a year because I was so sad of the events of that book. I still kept buying the books, but I wasn't going to read it until it was done. Then with Fate of the Jedi, every day continued until the very end. I didn't read Crucible, even though I have it on my shelf. I didn't read it because when Disney bought it, they broke my heart when they killed the EU. Point is, for that 20 years, from year 2000, from late 90s to 2012, I'd be out in the world. And occasionally, whether when I was living in New York, one time on a subway, or walking saying, I'd see somebody reading an EU book. And I would just go like this to myself. That's right. That's right. You know what I didn't do? I didn't just go talk to them, do anything. I just thought, there you go. That's cool. Other than that, I kept my head in the sand. I was one of the people that kept my head in the sand, that was not paying attention. That's my failure. Some people were being welcoming to all this stuff, being good nerds and trying to educate. I was an ostrich with a head in the sand. I wasn't paying attention. I was happy in my tiny little cliques, my tiny little niche groups that I was involved in, enjoying this stuff, not talking with a lot of people. But you're right. I should have been more active back then. That's my feeling. I wasn't active. I should have seen the warning signs. I did see the warning signs when they bought it, but I wasn't active, and I blackpilled. And again, that's another mistake. I blackpilled. But other people should have gatekept, and that's kind of the unfortunate thing that we're saying now. We're nerds. We like to share this stuff. I said it when I was talking about Star Trek in a video the other day. When you get a real fan of something, that loves something, that cherishes it, and you don't know a lot about it, and you somehow get in the conversation with a true fan, a passionate fan, they will talk to you about it ad nauseum with autism level minutia, because we can't control ourselves, because we're so excited to teach somebody about it that we lose control and we just go full autistic nerd. And that's what some people did in this period of time. It's like, oh shit, here comes people that aren't really familiar with this, or they're coming in. I'm gonna be an ambassador. I can now flex my nerd muscles and be an ambassador. Maybe not to be cool, but just because I'm excited to do this. Hindsight is 2020. We should have gatekept. There should have been purity tests. I hate to use that word. We should have been purity tests. Okay, talk to me about this. If you're claiming, not the people asking about it, but the people claiming to be fans.
Yes, exactly.
Talk to me about this. I mean, I use this example a lot. I was into wrestling for decades. I've tapered off the past 3 years. I'm not even though there's a big surge in the fellowship right now to get back into it. I'm not gonna go get back into it. But I used to love to watch some of the wrestling reality shows. When they brought back Tough Enough. When USA brought it back and Stone Cold was the host, it was funny as hell. And some of the guys, you could tell in there were real wrestling fans, but some weren't. And at one point, it was an elimination day. And one chick was asked, the question was, what's your favorite WWE moment?
Yeah.
And she spouted off something that happened maybe a couple months ago. And me and my buddy were watching this, and we each had an answer instantly. My answer instantly was WrestleMania 7 main event, Hulk Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter for the championship belt. First time I saw anybody get busted open. I loved it. It was crazy. And at that time, I still thought it was real. I mean, I could, it takes me a split second to give you that answer. My buddy, he had an answer too. I don't remember what it was anymore. But she spouts off a fake answer. That's something that she just saw a couple of months ago. That's the kind of thing you can get from a real fan. They don't have to wait to give an answer. They have their answer for something they love about it right away. The fake fan will spew Disney nonsense to back up Disney nonsense, or other STD, Star Trek, New Trek, to give you that kind of crap answer.
Yeah.
And we should have been gatekeeping. We should have been purity testing, because we would have protected it, or at the very least, we would have, the fan bases may have been more united, like the Tolkien fan base was when they tried to push Rings of Power. And we would have fought back. And I've said it before, the Star Wars fan base was never a united fan base.
Agreed.
We were always segmented in the OT and the PT crowds were going at each other for a decade, and everybody else was then calling us EU guys, your fanfic. Keep reading your fanfic. Stay out of this. I mean, that's how we behaved with each other, and we would internally fight. So when Disney took over, and these 2012 children who only watch Clone Wars and then only watch Rebels and only watch Disney shit took over or seemingly took over. There was no united fan base to stand up to them. So when these guys talk about saying the Star Wars fan base, no, what's left is the Disney stan base. It is not a Star Wars fan because the fan base has splintered even farther and retreated, or in some cases, we have unified in a way. There has been some unification of original real Star Wars fans. We're a lot more accepting of each other. We don't pull out the daggers when the PT versus OT conversation comes up anymore. So
yeah, I think that war is done with, Adam. I think the idea OT versus PT, I think that war is done. Yeah. I think we're all under the same umbrella now.
It's George Lucas versus non-George Lucas.
Pretty much, that war is over. I think we all put our swords down. And it's like, you know what? We're not so different. No, we got much bigger fish to fry. Like we can get back to this nerd mess later. But right now we gotta fight for the culture.
We gotta fight, and that's why I keep fighting, because I don't have faith that Star Wars is going to be saved, but I have a hope that someday somebody better will take it over and do what's right, and basically give Disney Star Wars the boot as sort of in terms of legitimacy. I mean, real fans already have. We've already said no. This shit ain't real. It's fanfic. Yeah, it's fanfic.
I just miss the nerd debates as a whole. I want to get back to it. Like recently, I was able to a certain extent, with a big classic Doctor Who debate on which Romana was better, Romana 1 or 2. I even got Gary roped in on it, and it was just people arguing the shit against each other. And it was just fun. Like no one was doing personal attacks. No one was doing anything crazier.
Well, it was basically somebody got called a retard at one point.
Oh yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about each other's mothers without question. That's going to happen.
but it was just so fun, and it was basically like some of us talked about like the writing of the character, the character type, motivation, stuff like that. Others were just like, she's clearly hotter than the other ones. No, the other one's clearly hotter, and so it like devolved. But it was still
titties are
fun. They are, but those nerd debates are just fun. Just like the classic, who would win in a fight versus Batman.
Okay,
exactly.
You guys didn't see this on Ballbusters Green Room before we got started. We got literally 2 minutes to showtime, and Hornioff comes in and he's talking about what he's gaming, and somehow with it, he was mentioning he was doing Final Fantasy VII, his retro stream, but then somehow it got turned into a debate over Final Fantasy, which one's better, which one's worse. And we had 2 minutes to go, and we're all getting, and 4 of us in there who are big Final Fantasy fans. Some of them were just getting into it. We started going at each other's throats about it. Within seconds, it just happens, and that's nerd shit. And then Dermy just goes, guys, we gotta start. We're like, shut up, Dermy. we're talking here. Because Dermy's like, I hated Final Fantasy X. Shut up, Dermy. So we nerd debates are great, and they get heated. But when it's over, it's all right. What are we gonna do today?
Yeah. And that's the thing, and that's like Jed. Unfortunately, probably grew up on the back end of that era. You know, of just having fun nerd debates. We grew up in the heart of that. Like I went, like one of my homies had hit me up a few days, I think it was last week, whatever, when it was Christmas or whatever. Hit me up and said, hey, come over. We're going to play Smash Bros. I'm like, cool. So we go over there, we're playing Smash, and then we're arguing about if Deathstroke could kill the X-Men. You know what I mean?
I say I try not to do those ones. I don't want to get into DC versus Marvel debates. I hate that because it's different power structures, and I can't do
But the answer is no.
Yeah, the answer is no, and that's what I was arguing. I said the moment he walks up in there, it's over. There's 5 freaking telepaths he has to deal with. It's over with. And my buddy was like, nah, you crazy.
He walks in there, Jean Grey's gonna turn him gay, and it's all over.
That's it. It's
Dude,
over.
that would be the funnest superpower, something like Jean Grey or Professor X, and you just like mess with people. Like you go into Dermy's mind and make him think he's straight for a day.
See, but we argued about that for about 40 minutes.
Imagine Chad Dermy, my God. Chad Dermy.
And that's what I'm saying. Like that kind of stuff is what that's literally what we're fighting for. We're literally fighting to get back to stupid nerd arguments. That's what I want. That's what I want again. I want to be able to post something
right.
online and then we all just go yell and scream at each other because we're all having a fun time.
But Dre,
Like that's what I miss.
You've brought up a perfect point here. We learned our lesson. This whole past, we'll say 8 years. These past 8 years, as we've watched everything fall apart, nerds have learned our lesson to not get so salty at each other over inconsequential shit, because we realize this is a war. This is this is a literal war. There are battlegrounds. There are theaters of combat, and we each have to choose one. We don't have to choose them all. We can't choose them all. And sometimes we've lost as much as we won. We've won a lot of victories lately, but we learned the lesson. We're all still nerds. I may hate something you like, which is I mean, I'm not a fan of Game of Thrones, but I know a lot of people who I hang out with who love it. And I've learned to accept that in these years. And this is me growing as a nerd. I used to be like, I don't want to hear about this shit. But now it's like, okay, you know what? They love this shit. They're fighting for it too. And I'm going to back them up any way I can by saying, you deal with that. I'm over here fighting with Star Wars and Star Trek. You can fight for this. You can fight for that. But we grew, we evolved, we learned our lessons. We are all passionate fans. You know who hasn't learned a lesson? Hollywood. Hollywood has not learned a lesson because they don't even know the course. I came across this article the other day, made a video on it. Box office existential crisis ahead as Hollywood rethinks what makes a hit.
They're going to make the wrong decisions, aren't they?
Yes. Yeah. This isn't too long, so let's go through. We got another 20 minutes before I got to go to engage. We got time. 1 of every 5 moviegoers has vanished since the pandemic, according to research compiled by one Hollywood studio. Whether they'll ever return to see a film on the big screen is anyone's guess, and if they do, when. It's an alarming stat that offers some explanation to why the box office turned on its head in 2023, leaving the film industry bewildered and befuddled. Superhero fare, the genre that helped prop up the business for well over a decade, no longer got a free pass as mega budget picks bombed, including The Flash, Aquaman 2, and The Marvels. Jed.
And Ant-Man.
And Ant-Man. But this is what they listed. Jed, we called this a year ago.
Yes, it's a decline in everything across the board, but this is, in my opinion, I know it's a controversial subject, but I do believe this is superhero fatigue, along with many other things like woke fatigue, bad storytelling fatigue, but at a certain point, even Westerns saw a massive fatigue. Even when they were still good in the 60s and 70s, people were just tired of seeing every other movie being a Western, so there will be eventual fatigue. Yes, the bad quality, the wokeness is accelerating the superhero fatigue. But even stuff like Guardians of the Galaxy, I don't believe that box office is as high as it should have been for the quality of the film because there was fatigue. Yeah. And that's to a lot of sources. But generally, people just aren't going to the theater anymore because of this shit.
Even if you take the fatigue argument out of it, we all said The Flash isn't going to be good because Ezra Miller is hated and despised for not only being a human being, but his portrayal as Barry Allen. Aquaman 2, we said it was going to bomb. We knew it was going to suck, but we said it was going to do badly because of where they put it in the schedule. It should have been released before The Flash. It might have had a fighting chance before The Flash.
Yeah, because The Flash was marketed almost like a reset film.
Yeah, exactly. And The Marvels, we said The Marvels was never going to go because nobody likes Brie Larson as Carol Danvers. Nobody was into it. But now they're saying, oh, it's not doing so well. These bombed. Now we have to rethink things. Maybe you should have rethought things when we warned you a year ago. So they didn't learn this lesson. They didn't see it coming. We told them it was going to happen. It gets worse. Their obtuseness only gets worse here. Audiences' tastes are changing, and it feels like they want more challenging fare, says ComScore box office analyst Paul. I'm not even going to try and say that name. This existential crisis settled in for the long term when a pair of fresh original summer movies, Barbie and Oppenheimer, outwitted everyone and transformed into cultural phenomenon known as Barbenheimer. Okay, Dre, What have we said over and over again about Barbie?
It is the greatest marketing campaign in the history of humankind. Put that on my tombstone, why don't you?
Yeah.
It was lightning in a bottle. It's a lightning and a double rainbow in a bottle. Okay. It was something that I've never seen before and probably will never see again.
Yeah.
It was the greatest marketing campaign I've ever seen.
And it was marketed towards a specific audience.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Jed,
This show was about women, for women, targeted to women. It was perfect. It was perfect marketing. If there ever was one. Perfect.
I mean, Jed, up until the 2020s, what were movies done? They were marketed towards specific audiences, right?
Yeah, there's a such thing as a target audience, and that makes sense. Like, yeah, you want to get other audiences if you can, but you have to focus on a specific audience. Something that's made for everyone is made for no one. That's an old adage that I've heard in writing. And yeah, you can't dilute something, Disneyify something to try to water it down so that it's palatable to everyone, because it's not going to be palatable to anyone if you do that. So yeah, you have to have a target audience. You have to be focusing on sci-fi fans. You have to focus on young adults. There's so many target audiences. Just pick one and you can see great success from that target audience.
They will turn out.
They will turn out, but Disney's had a problem with target audiences for a long time, in particular with their whole, like, let's change these male target audience franchises and make them female oriented by changing only the gender of the main characters and, of course, making it shit as well. And then they were surprised that women didn't come out. Well, because it was not a genre that they're particularly interested in, and it wasn't targeted at them well, so it failed. But Barbie is a female property with a female target audience that was marketed to its target audience. So, of course, it was successful. Its target audience came out. Unlike a great example from a couple years ago was the Charlie's Angels movies. That was schizophrenic when it came to what its target audience was. Oh, men, it's not for you. Why didn't men show up? We marketed it to men. You need to make up your mind.
You bring up Charlie's Angels as opposed to the 2000s version with Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu, and what's her name? Shit, forget her name.
Cameron Diaz.
Cameron Diaz, thank you.
Cameron
Diaz. That thing was marketed full-on sex appeal, and we all watched it, and we all touched ourselves to it
twice. Twice.
Yeah, because
on both accounts, Adam.
They looked
on
good.
both accounts twice.
Yeah.
And the spy action genre was more a male-dominated target audience. Yeah.
And it was over the top. It was blown up. It was just outside reality with how they did shit. So, perfect example, marketed towards an audience. So, for them to say here, and by them, I say Hollywood Reporter, who was speaking for Hollywood in this case, to say you are outwitted by Barbie and Oppenheimer, that means you don't understand what's going on. You've forgotten the equation. Make a movie for an audience, the audience will show up. Women showing up for Barbie is not a surprise.
Yeah.
We were only surprised because we didn't realize that it was going to be that appealing to all the women. We didn't. We were. That's what took us off guard. We thought it would just be hokey and it wouldn't be as big as it was.
Nowhere close.
So we didn't understand it. But then again, we're men.
Also true.
And we weren't the target audience. As for Oppenheimer, people dig history. That's another equation that Hollywood has forgotten. People dig history. Yep. And when you put a guy like Christopher Nolan, who is a respected and talented director in charge of something, you're probably going to get something good, especially when you have a passionate fan base of Nolan fans who will go there first and then spread the good word if it works.
I said a while back, to myself, it's probably the equivalent of doing a Barbie film. We're going to do a Barbie film. Oh, by the way, she's only going to be in it for 10 minutes. It's all going to be about Ken. Can you imagine the outcry that would have happened if that did happen?
Yeah, and what happened with Ken in the movie? People still like the Ken stuff in this movie, though, because apparently Ryan Gosling was entertaining. Oh, yeah, he somebody was entertaining. And it still held attention. That's the other part of it. Make something that's entertaining, not agenda-driven. So they don't get it. They haven't learned the lesson because they don't understand that you have to do what was always done for over 100 years. Make movies for audiences.
And that's the point, Adam. Adam, you just made an excellent point. Yeah. The fact of the matter is, this has been done for 100+ years, and somehow in 5 years' time, everyone forgot how movies work. That's insane. Gone with the Wind made $1 quadrillion in today's money because you know what? People like westerns and people like romance.
I have an answer. It's what we talked about 10 minutes ago. Those who infiltrated, who only have agenda on their brain, don't understand this shit. All they're there to do is push agenda. So when you have people who don't know how the industry works now running the industry, or the people who remain that did know how it worked, too afraid they're going to get accused of something, so they bend the knee and show their throat to the woke mob. That's what changed. That's why it happened in 6 years.
Even if I have one of those psychopaths from Gender Studies 101, all that stuff has never moved anyone ever. Outside of film and movies or whatever, those movements are cringe as the day is long. People flee from it. People flee from the ideas of being badgered and beat by some stupid ideology that they don't believe in. So nothing has changed. You take that ideologue and you put it in the film industry, and then everybody ran away.
But right here, look what they didn't run away from. Sound of Freedom took off at the box office with virtually no warning because why? Word of mouth. And also, it was talking about a topic matter that people are engaged in because people are afraid of it and people are concerned about it. And Hollywood didn't want to talk about it because most of them are actually involved in it. And then they're surprised that tried and true installments like Indiana Jones and the Dial-Up of Destiny failed. No, we weren't surprised because we said no one wants to watch an 80-plus-year-old Harrison Ford be whammed by Phoebe Waller-Bridge for 3 hours. Nobody asked for that. We told you we didn't want it, but you went ahead and did it anyway because Kathleen Kennedy knows best, and she had to ruin another thing that George and Spielberg did. And then Mission Impossible. We've talked about Mission Impossible. We've even referenced it today. There's a lot of factors into why Mission Impossible didn't do well. If it released 2 months prior and been up against Little Mermaid, it would have crushed it, I think.
Absolutely.
I think it would have done much better. But they had a thing about releasing around July 4th, and then
they got murdered by Barbenheimer.
And they got and by Sound of Freedom. That took a lot of their thunder. Because the same type of audience would want that were enthralled by the reality of what Sound of Freedom was telling. So they're surprised when movies that shouldn't be made fail. We weren't surprised. Again, they're not learning the lesson. The family marketplace also remained incredibly fragile post-pandemic, particularly for original animated fares such as Disney's Wish and Elemental. They don't mention Elemental. And Illumination Universal's Migration, Super Mario Bros. Movie, another Illumination Universal title that's based on the beloved video game, was a major exception to the animation downturn. No, it wasn't an exception. It was the same rule as Barbie. It was made for a specific audience, and it turned out, and then it had the other equation that Disney and these other woke agenda, not so secret agenda pushing. I want to say that word. Almost said a gamer word. Baguettes. They forgot the equation that if you make it for the adult who remembers something awesome, that being Mario, and then make it super kid friendly, the kids are going to want to see it 5 times, which is why Mario made $1.5 billion. I think it was 1.5. That's why I made it. Because, again, I'm going to tell you, I did it again. I said again. What's the matter with me?
Again?
When I was in the Mario theater, when I went to see it, one of the 2 times I went to the theater last year, while I was waiting for the stinger to come, little kids in front of me with the families said, when we come back, I want to see this again. There it is. You hit 2 audiences. You hit the old dudes like me who just like Mario. He's iconic. I have great memories. Hit the gamers. And then you hit the little kids who are getting introduced to this for the first time and then want to go home and play Mario on their Switch. That's the marketing. Mario is the same as Barbie. So again, they're confused why Mario did well, why it's an exception. It shouldn't be the exception. It's the rule. Marketed. Everything is so lopsided, says a Wall Street analyst. The number of big budget movies in 2023 that didn't make money felt like an all-time high. Consumer interest in the movie going has been permanently altered. The question is, can theater survive another horrific year? Remember when we started the stream, I said, remember the word consumer and customer. This asshole sees us as consumers. We are not consumers. We are customers. We want to give you our money to be entertained. We want these things to be successful. We don't want to be fed agenda and told to just consume it and shut up. That's what a consumer is. Someone who just takes it and moves along or stands there waiting for the Disney dog to shit in its mouth. We are not consumers. We are customers. We are passionate fans. And to have this just shows you, if a Wall Street analyst is saying this, they don't get it. The industry, Hollywood, doesn't get it. And the people who are the money people don't get it. If you don't understand that you're looking at us the wrong way, that you're treating us like a consumer and not the customer, you haven't learned the lesson. Dre, I believe it was last week when we were talking about lessons of 2023 and 2024. Yours was the customer learned the lesson to walk away with their wallets.
Yeah, say no with their dollars. Yep.
Yeah.
Say no with their dollars.
We learned the lesson.
Yep.
The normies learned the lesson. These assholes have not. Notes, a top 2 executive, we are definitely going through an evolution, and we can't just keep cranking out the same old franchise fare. We have to do better. The ways we did things for decades don't work anymore. Yes, they do! The original way you did stuff works.
Who wrote this article? Who?
Well, this is somebody from an executive. This is an executive quoted here.
He was a moron, too.
Yes. We just talked about it.
You need to change anything. No, decades past, there's billions of dollars. Billions. Y'all changed, not us. Y'all changed.
Yes,
what was fine for the last 100 years, we was good with it. Then 4 or 5 years ago, like, we're going to change it. No, go back. If you have any sense, look what Barbie did. Look what Maverick did year before.
2 years ago.
Year before last. They went back to what works. Hey, this is just about having fun and enjoying ourselves and look at the cool planes and look at a fun action adventure. Everybody and they mama showed up. That's the recipe. The recipe is, hey, do you guys like having fun? Yes. Here's fun. Here's my money, sir. You all have changed. Go back to what was working. Go back. Man, look. If you are somebody that plays sports and you have a strategy that has worked for decades and decades and decades, and then you change it and you start losing, you go back to what you were doing for decades and decades and decades. These people are not mentally well. These are not intelligent people. It's deep. It's deep. It's deep.
I mean, they haven't
we
figured
gotta
it
stop
out.
what we're doing. These people are crazy. They don't know what they're doing.
This is why I said they haven't learned the lesson. And they say observers also note that domestic revenue was ultimately able to cross $9 billion last year with Christmas menu with a better respect performance from The Color Purple, Wonka and the Boys of the Boat. Hey, we talked about this. Color Purple has only made $54 million in almost 3 weeks now with a $100 million budget. It gets worse and worse all the time. Slight recovery on the weekend, but this is performance. This movie's not a success. It's a failure.
Is it going to get an international release?
I don't know.
Sweet Jesus, I hope not. Because let me tell you something. One thing we know that the international people don't like is...
Okay, it's a staggered international release. Look at that.
Okay.
It's a staggered
Wow,
release.
that is wild, that release schedule.
Yeah, but
with all that scattered stuff, there's no way the international is gonna save this film.
It's not. It's a very American tale.
It needs $250 million to break even. It's not going to get even close to that. But to call it a good Christmas, no, they haven't learned the lesson. This is over. This is done. And it's not going to get any better. We talked about it last week. What do we expect? We expect nothing from this year. I mean, we're going to do well because we're going to have plenty to talk about. But they're not. They're not. haven't learned the lesson. All right. Anybody want to add anything to this before we close out? Because we are at the time.
I'm out of breath, so I'm good.
All right.
Well, I just want to briefly add that they're not learning the lessons, just like we said.
Yeah,
with
bring
the,
it up.
With the Alien film, very briefly. So they're deciding, you know what? The Alien movies have been bad for a while, which I'm willing to hear that there's 2 Alien films. I personally only think there's 1, but I will listen to the first 2.
There's 2.
I will accept that from other people. I don't care that much about the second one. But instead of trying to go back to what worked, just like we said, they're going to try to do something else that sort of almost kind of worked, but isn't going to in the future. It looks like they're going to try to replicate the style of Ghostbusters Afterlife for an Alien film. The dynamic. And Frozen Empire does not look good, so they're not even going to be able to succeed off their own model, let alone someone replicating it.
I thought Afterlife was going to be this big thing. Boy, was I freaking wrong. I thought
it was good. I enjoyed the film.
I thought it was going to be huge. I thought it was going to be pulling a bunch of nostalgia and people were going to rally around it. I was wrong with that. I was okay. If I never see it again, I don't care.
Yeah. It's definitely an improvement over 2016 reboot. But yeah, it seems like that's going to be their idea. And I don't know if you guys know this, but the star of the film, who is somehow going away from the Ripley model, even though she looks a lot like, at least a diverse version of Ripley, is being played by the actress known for playing Dora the Explorer in the live-action Dora film. She's going to be the star.
There's a live-action Dora film?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was.
Dora and the Lost City or something like that. The Gold City, something like that.
I wish she'd gotten lost.
But yeah, she...
hub or something.
A woman known for playing Dora the Explorer is going to be the star of Alien Romulus, which takes place between Aliens 1 and 2, features a group of young people on a distant
we can
world.
stop right there. I don't want to hear
it's
anymore.
It's essentially another an inserted prequel, if you want to call it that. I don't know.
Yes.
Dre don't like that.
This might be very controversial, but I think it's going to be better than Covenant and Prometheus because it's going to be damn hard to be worse than those pieces of shit.
I read the synopses of those. Those weren't.
They're just so
terrible.
They're awful.
Prometheus gave me a kidney stone, and Covenant.
I've seen parts of Prometheus.
Yo,
I read about
Covenant. I needed knee replacement surgery after I watched that joint. Yo,
they're so bad.
Terrible.
They're awful.
Terrible.
All right. Well,
so I do think Romulus is going to be a slight improvement because it's going to be difficult to be as bad as Prometheus and Covenant. Oh, probably.
It's going to be garbage, but
it's probably going to be worse than Resurrection.
It can't be. Ooh, that movie's bad too. Ooh.
Oh yeah, that wasn't good.
Ooh.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap it up here because I've got to go board the Engage. So let's go around the horn, say our stuff, and say our farewells for the week. Jed, what you got coming up this week?
Well, you can all check me out, Hollywood Scholar, on YouTube. I'm going to be putting out videos as I find them about the Doctor Who stuff, Witcher stuff, and the Medusa video that I did a few days ago. Didn't do well at first, but it's suddenly blowing up, so I might do a follow-up.
Lately. I'm getting
kind of odd.
Delayed surges in my videos.
Yeah. It's odd, but if it continues on that track, I might continue to do more videos like that because that wasn't focusing on Percy Jackson. It was more focusing on the mythology itself, showing what it really looked like in comparison to the misconceptions. So I might do more stuff like that, and then I'll try to game this week. We'll see.
Yeah,
but
I need to get that gaming channel going. Let's see if I can do something.
But after last night, which was a very successful on my channel, despite making it 1 minute before we went live. Yeah. Saturday Night Drive-In will be on my channel as well as Adam's moving forward, so you can check out either of our perspectives.
Boomer moment is like, wait a minute, I've been simulcasting on somebody else's show I've been doing for a few months now. God damn it, Adam! Make sure Jed can simulcast Drive-In. It just hit me yesterday. It's like, increase the audience because. While we share audience, we don't all have the same subscribers. So it's like, God damn, just make it bigger. So that's on me. That was on me that took me this long. So yeah, you can catch Saturday Night Drive-In on both my channel and Jed's channel every week going forward. And if we ever get a third permanent panel, you can catch it on their channel too when we get there. All right, Dre, what's going on this week?
So this week is going to be a fun week. Tomorrow, Monday, I'll be dropping my review of Crimson Wren, the book I just got from Clownfish TV. So this has been a good read. I'll be dropping my review of that tomorrow. Wednesday we'll be dropping whatever news is hot in the street. Wait, no, I'm not.
You're not.
Echo is Tuesday. So
Echo.
Fun with that.
Wednesday,
All
we'll
at
be,
once. It's all at once.
we'll be
All-
talking about
all
Echo on
5
Wednesday.
episodes because they dropped.
Oh God. Okay. We'll be talking about Echo on Wednesday, and
and then
and
you
then
can fill us
Friday
in
we'll
next
see what's
week.
going on in the news.
I ain't watching that. You can fill us in next week. We'll talk about it, I'm sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
and last but not least, Trouble with the Rhythm Within is in demand currently. I'll have links all in my channel and here. And I'm sure Adobe drop links here to check it out. If you missed the campaign, it still be in demand. Yeah, and all that. Man, I completely forgot about that stupid
You
show.
just decided to do it. It's fair.
Yes, I just decided to do it. And it hit my brain. My
Your
brain was
brain
like,
already said no. No.
Yeah, my brain said no.
All I know is we didn't talk about it, but they had that release footage of that fight scene where a pregnant chick is diving around everywhere.
I'm gonna throw up.
Terrible. It's terrible.
And that fight with Daredevil that
Yeah.
week,
I
that looks
laughed
really
at
bad.
That was the worst choreography I've ever seen.
It's
that was
awesome.
rough.
MCU is saved. Dragon Lady, you got anything on this week?
Hopefully I should be posting. I should be back to posting a couple of videos this week. Since I took a break from that for a couple of weeks because of it being Christmas and New Year. I'm still trying to catch up on sleep from last Sunday.
We don't talk about catching up on sleep. We don't talk about that.
Yeah, I'm still trying to catch up from sleep from last Sunday with it being New Year's Eve. I may have to sleep all week. That's about it, really.
Back to the grind. And I will continue with the grind tonight in about 10 minutes after I go take out the garbage. Star Trek Engage, Jed, we're at Space Seed. Oh, I wanted to watch Rathacon so bad when I watched Space Seed the other day. I just wanted, but I had to resist. I had to keep it good because then it's gonna override my thoughts on the episode going today. But we're Space Seed, one of the most important TOS episodes of all time.
Well, you got to watch the trilogy. You got to watch Space Seed, Rathacon, and then Into Darkness.
Shut up.
Oh.
I'll be on Engage. You can catch it right here in about 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes. They'll probably hold out because I'm going to be a little late for a few minutes. With myself, Samuel Lee Infamous, Ryan Legion News, Horny Alf, Anna's Gameland, and Devil Made Me Do It. We've got a Wesley, but I forget who it is. So I'm sorry, Wesley. We do Space Seed. After that, I might game tonight. We might Renaissance Nerd Arcade. I just made it. Link in the description below. Go there. I don't have anything yet. We're all gaming will now be there so that I can save my algorithm every time I go for 5 hours. Maybe I'll do something tonight. If we're going to do something, it's either going to be the Outer Worlds or Crusader Kings 3. I'm in the mood for either. If I do something, it'll be a little bit after or once Get Ranked is going because I don't want to steamroll over Devil while he's doing that. So we'll get maybe later tonight. If not tonight, then it will happen this week. Tomorrow is Mellow Mondays, 9 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow night because it's my birthday stream. I'm 1 year older on Tuesday. So we're going to try to get to 12:01. I will be drinking. One of the 2 times this year, I can say I will drink on stream this tomorrow night because it's my birthday and you guys get to tell me to drink. And in a month for the 3-year anniversary of the channel, which will also be on a Mellow Monday. So join me, myself. Devil's going to be there. The door will be open. Anybody can come in. We'll have a good time. And we'll see if I can hold my liquor. It's been a long time. It's hard cider, but it's got a high alcohol content. It should be good. We'll see if my Russian and Italian blood can still shoulder the load.
Hard cider, really,
it's delicious. It's delicious.
Yeah, but it's not how a man drinks alcohol.
I don't drink hard liquor. I never have. I used to get blasted on everything else, but I never drank hard liquor.
I drink.
There's better ways.
It's my birthday, motherfucker. I'm gonna drink what I want.
Next, you got to get one of those little tiny umbrellas, the swirly straws. It's
not like it's Mike's Hard Lemonade, dude. It's not like it's Mike's Hard Lemonade.
I drink low alcoholic cider, which is quite nice.
No, this hard cider is awesome. It's delicious, and it gets you drunker than beer. Okay,
that is true. Beer is not for getting drunk. It's for looking like you can drink a lot.
All right, so then National 20 on Wednesday. I'm sure I'll be pissed about something by then. Then Ballbusters on Friday throughout the week. Reviews, discussions, all kinds of good stuff. And then Jed, what we got coming up on Drive-In next week?
We will be watching The Black Hole, the 70s classic sci-fi film cult classic from Disney. It's very odd. I
Still
recently
Disney
read
back
the novelization, so I wanted to check out the movie I haven't seen before. So
So join us then for Saturday Drive-In, and then we'll be right back here, 2 p.m. Eastern, next Sunday for the roundtable, where Dre is going to tell us how bad Echo is.
yes,
So, look at that. He doesn't want to do it. Anyway, all right, guys. Thanks, everybody.
and it's a binge season. Dre, you ready?
Yeah. I'm gonna be just drooling outside my mouth.
Thank you, one and all. Chat, we love you. We appreciate all your support. Subscribe to everybody. Hit that like button. Watching live on the replay, and we will see you next week. Until then, take it easy. Have a good night or day wherever you may be.